Hi, I'm Dr. Herbert Halls, and I was going to talk about basic reptile setup, husbandry with respect to their enclosure, and important points. Probably starting off with, you need an escape-proof enclosure, especially with snakes. Something that has a latching top or a locking top is what you want, so you have no escape. After that, what's probably most important is the temperature gradient. The POTZ, that stands for Preferred Optimal Temperature Zone, and you need a gradient that goes from the hottest part of their temperature requirements down to the lower end of their temperature requirements. That's why we have a heat source over here, and I make this easy by having it attached to an automatic timer. So unless the electricity goes off, I don't have to worry about this coming on at a preset time and going off. This is a nice lamp because it's going to provide both light like the sun, heat like the sun, and because it's mercury vapor, it's going to provide ultraviolet UVB light, which is important when it comes to calcium and vitamin D metabolism. Many people use a separate light that's a fluorescent strip to provide ultraviolet light, and either one is fine. When you buy lighting that's marketed for reptiles for their lighting needs, and you're more assured of getting a good product that's going to serve them well. Okay. In addition to having your heat source and your light source to ensure you're at the preferred optimal temperature zone, a thermometer, very important. What you want is a movable thermometer. You want it so you can have it near the heat source, and you want to be able to move it away from the heat source so you know what the gradient is, what the hottest area is in the background temperature. Over here I have a hygrometer, which is going to measure the humidity. Important, but not as important as knowing the temperature. So that's temperature, and you'll note we can either raise or lower how high he can get to the heat source. That can adjust the temperature. How the size wattage of bulb you're using can adjust the temperature, and you probably need to experiment a little bit with distance and the wattage lamp you're going to use. Other important things that are in his enclosure would be a hide box, some security, visual security, to include a hide box, some cage furniture, make him feel a little more at home, be able to get behind or underneath things for security and more for feeling a little more natural. In the middle, the big bowl is a soak pit that's filled about that high with water, so he can get in, bathe if he wants to, and drink if he wants to. And normally I'll keep the soak pit in the middle of the enclosure, his hide box in one end. If you really had enough room, you could put a hide box in the middle and on one end, and certainly the hottest area where they can bask and warm up is on the far end of the cage. To sort of wrap things up, there's a couple of other important things in the enclosure. What's on the bottom, we call that the substrate. I use newspaper. It's non-toxic, it's cheap, it's easy to clean. You can use a variety of substances, but small sand-like or bark-like material can get ingested and lead to problems. I caution using that, and if you do, you want to feed off of a container on top of that so they're less likely to eat it and cause an impaction. I have food in here that's highly variable with the type of animal you're keeping as to what you need to feed it. There is a nice write-up for basic husbandry on our website that goes into a little more detail on housing and lighting and heating and diet for care of a variety of reptiles, you really owe it to your animal to research their specific needs. And there's a lot of good information out there now that will help you, and we're happy to help you as well. Thank you.